There. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Look at that. You can already feel the energy in the room. This is what the Northside is about. Am I right, Councilmember Vetaw? And the reason that you feel the energy is we are putting our money where our mouth has been. We're investing in the Northside. We're making sure that people who are struggling from addiction, who are at their lowest point in life, have a way out. They have a turning point. This is that turning point right here. You all are that turning point. I want to give some thank yous to the people that are up here with us right now, because I'm so incredibly grateful for their collective work. I want to start by thanking Councilmember LaTrisha Vetaw. I'm going to talk a little more about this in a minute here, but she was the one that put me in contact with Turning Point to begin with. She was the one that expressed the need to be investing, not just in this community, but in this particular establishment that has done amazing work, helped so many people over now decades. I want to thank our health commissioner, Damone Chaplin, who has truly been running with a big vision in the health department. And I thought I saw the deputy health commissioner as well, Heidi, maybe not. I want to thank them. I want to thank Byron for his wonderful work and advocacy throughout as a counselor, as someone with lived experience from the community here. I want to give a big thank you for the CEO, Dr. Peter Hayden. When you talk with this guy, you feel like you actually feel physically how much he cares about this issue. He's not doing this for fame or fortune or accolades. He's doing this because he wants to help the Northside. He wants to help a community that is struggling with addiction, and he's doing it each and every day. I want to thank the CFO, Lori Wilson. Yeah. When I first came up here to Turning Point, we first stopped by this building, and you already kind of had me sold, to be honest with you. I'm seeing an air conditioner that was busted. I'm seeing furniture that was in desperate need of repair. But I was also seeing that even with all of those issues, you were still doing the work. Yeah. Even with so many of these issues, you had a whole community that was behind you that had been very quietly, beneath the surface, doing the work that quite literally keeps people alive. And importantly, not just keeping them alive, but allowing them to live. And they're two different things. We are not just talking about hitting somebody with some Narcan after they overdose and make sure that they kind of survive for another couple of days. That's surviving, but that is not life. What you all are doing here is making sure that each and every person that comes through these doors has the opportunity to change themselves, to change their mentality, and to change their trajectory so that they can live a brilliant life. That's what you're doing. That's right. And the data very clearly shows that right now, not just in Minneapolis, but let's be clear, nationwide, we have an opioid crisis. This is the kind of drug that takes a hold of people and basically prevents them in so many ways from living life, from making decisions that would benefit both themselves and their community. And they need a support system around them. They need a mentor to be able to go to ask for help. They need a doctor to be able to advise on health decisions. They need a friend that's going to be there for them when they're at some of their worst moments. Sometimes it feels like hope is lost. Sometimes it feels like you don't have somebody that's going to be there for you. But whether it's God or a friend or a mentor or as Turning Point, which is kind of a semblance of all of those put together, you all are making it happen. And so when Councilmember Vetaw said, hey, you got to go check this place out, we walked through, we saw a place that was in desperate need of repair but was still doing the work. Then CFO Lori Wilson said, well, we can't just look at this spot, I want to show you somewhere else. And we drove, I don't know what, like a half mile away or something. We drove from here a half mile away in a very short period of time. You were violating all sorts of traffic laws on the way. And we showed up at a place where people who are suffering from addiction can call home. But this home needed some care. This home needed some amazing amount of TLC. This home, if you even touch the floorboards, there's probably asbestos in them. And home should be not just a place where you get refuge and a ceiling over your head. It should be a place that you're proud of. It should be a place that offers dignity to the person that you are. And God knows we got a lot of work left to do in order to bring that place up to a status, up to a level of stability that does provide what I believe that people deserve. Data shows that in 2021, in Minneapolis, Native Americans were 29 times more likely to suffer from an opioid overdose death. Black people, 2.4 times more likely to suffer from an opioid death. And so those statistics, they're unacceptable. And we all need to do something to change. And why I believe in this investment so much is the work that has been happening here hasn't just popped up overnight to respond to something that is an emergent need that is suddenly getting cameras and press. Again, you all have been quietly doing the work like a duck that is paddling furiously below the surface, but on top of the surface, you can't tell that it's moving. You all have been there. And so when Councilmember Vetaw told me about it when we came up here, this is one of those investments that doesn't just pull on the budget and necessarily so, it pulls on the heartstrings. And so that's why I'm so proud to be here today with all of you. This is going to make a difference. The investment that Senator Bobby Joe Champion made from the state is going to make a difference. This investment of $500,000 that we are putting into Turning Point is going to make a difference in people's lives. And so with this investment, we're standing up to support our residents, especially on the north side. Let's hear it for the north side. And we're standing up to support these important organizations like Turning Point that are making a true difference in our community. So with that, can you give a huge round of applause to council member of the 4th Ward, a queen of the North Side. Council member LaTrisha.
He definitely got that part right, Queen. Good job, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. You know, as an elected official, you don't always get these moments where you get to celebrate where you came from and where you're going and where this community is going. Turning Point is extremely special to me because I know I wouldn't be here today as a council member had it not been for Turning Point. My mother fell victim to the crack epidemic in the 90s, and this place is what made that huge turnaround for my family. My mother sat on the steps outside of this very building, and Dr. Hayden let her in, and my life changed, and my family's lives changed forever, 25 years ago, because of this place. So I've always kept my eye on what's been happening over at Turner Point. Dr. Hayden and I have always talked about, the steps moving forward for Turner Point. And a couple of years ago, as an elected council member, I came over to see what was going on. Lori welcomed me in. We talked about the possibilities. We talked about what we see on Broadway every day and how we know Turner Point could make a big difference in that. So one of the reasons why my mother came to Turner Point is because it was in the neighborhood. We lived right on 18th and Irving, and she knew that a new treatment facility had just been built in this community. She had relapsed several times. She went to bigger name treatment centers. None of those worked because they didn't have a Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's true. It's true. She wanted her neighborhood food. All of those things that we don't think about being a barrier are a barrier for some people. She wanted her connection to community. She wanted culturally specific treatment. She wanted people like Dr. Hayden and Lori who stand up and talk to you about all the things that Black people experience in their life and how she got to where she was in her addiction and how different it was going to be moving forward. So Turning Point, I wish she could be here. She's not a public speaker, so I don't think I could have got her to stand up here with me. But my mother has always been grateful for Turning Point, and so it is truly a full circle moment in my life to be here. And to have called the mayor and Senator Champion and say, hey, come over here. Come look at what's going on and look at what we can do moving forward for not only North Minneapolis, but the African American community who is also falling victim to the opioid crisis, to alcoholism. There's still a lot of things in our community that we haven't dealt with in terms of addiction, and Turning Point is by far the place that is going to continue to help us. And we're gonna beat this thing. We really are. Addiction is connected to so many other things we see happening in this community, like the violence, the housing crisis we have over here. As the mayor said, we went to go visit an off-site residency for Turner Point patients. We need that place to be at its full capacity. And that's what this money that Senator Champion has got from the state and that the mayor is committing to in the city's budget is going to do for us. Turning Point is going to be able to open up its doors to more community members who are suffering from addiction, who need the resources that at the city level it should just be basic that we're providing these services to our residents. So I'm excited about the future. I'm excited that in 1 year we were able to come up with $1.5 million for Turning Point. The future is very bright for Turning Point and very bright for our community. And before I leave, I just want to acknowledge Al Flowers. I was really trying to figure out how I could get a hold of Lori, because I didn't know Lori. I knew Lori, but I didn't know what Lori was doing previous to this. And Al made it happen in 5 minutes. And there's been a connection ever since then. Thank you, Turner Point. Thank you to Senator Champion. Thank you to the mayor. Thank you to my team, because the Ward 4 office has been instrumental in making this happen. And my 2 aides are in love with Turner Point. They see the vision. They see, when we first came in, I went into a room where my family had therapy for the first time at, and it looked exactly the same. 25 years ago was the first time I ever sat down and heard my mother talk about her upbringing, and my brother and sister and I were able to, ask her questions. And that room looked the same, and it's not okay. We can do better than that. Thank you, doctor. And now I'm going to welcome up Dr. Hayden to speak.
Councilmember Vetaw, Mayor, of course. The mayor, I always say this, our baby girl, Sydney, used to work for the mayor.
That's right.
That's right. She did her internship. Brother Alexander, thank you. And we're going to get together soon, all right? First of all, let me just say, all these guys that's in the crowd, I want y'all to just stand up. All the brothers that are in Turning Point right now. Many times we talk about standing on my shoulder. My staff stands on y'all's shoulder. And thank you so much. I'd like for my staff to stand up. Thank you for everything. Quentin, NFL, for what? For life, right? Say that, what that means.
Northside is for life. It's NFL means Northside for life. That means we're dedicated to improving the community and ourselves, number one. I say, how do we change the community? One black man at a time.
All right. So I could name a lot of people, Spike's here, everyone of this nature. But let me just say this. What he just finished with was what Turning Point started. I went to a place called, it was like Hazelwood and Betty Ford, but it was ran by the city of Minneapolis. And I went there, and I knew it was time for me to change. It was time for me to change because I wouldn't have had a former senator like Jeff Hayden if I didn't change my life. I wouldn't have a cousin who's a director, a movie director, if it hadn't changed my life. And certainly I wouldn't have had my wife, Joyce, and my father and mother if it hadn't changed my life. I'm going to sit down. I just want to say this. Thank y'all for looking out for us. Thank you. Because I have a bunch of young men and young ladies who need to be Peter Haydens, who they can say, if it hadn't been for the mayor coming and giving us the $500,000, if it hadn't been for Councilmember Vetaw, if it hadn't been for all those people who love us, and we felt the love when we got here. So I want to thank you from the bottom of our heart. And we're going to make you happy because we're going to do even more. Again, thank you so much.
Well, yeah, introduce me, right?
Lori!
Well, I'll say this. This has been an amazing journey. We've been down this road for about a year and a half now. And I'm going to tell you, if it wasn't for the staff, our board, and you guys rocked this. I mean, I came in the doors, and our auditors had given us this whole kind of narrative. They said, basically, you guys, the doors will be closed at the end of the year. And I was like, not on my watch, not on your watch. And so we did a lot of just relationship building, like who can we talk to? Vetaw, you were looking at us for a long time, and thank God Al called me and said, yo, she needs to talk to you. And so after that, thank you and your staff. You guys have been amazing. Not only had they brought to the table Senator Champion and got that acknowledged to us, that was $1 million, right? We're like, oh, okay, that's great, right? That'll get us on our feet. You know, we've got that whole property in Glenwood. We've got our property over on 1105 Emerson. We've got a lot of property that we need to fix. Not only just to make the buildings look nice, but we have to have it for our staff, our clients. They deserve something better, right? And so that was the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, you know, oh, maybe another 500,000 will come our way. And I'm like, okay, well, that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And so this one doesn't know. I kind of stalked you on the Parkway for a little bit. Yeah. I don't run, right? And so I'm like, hey,
Jacob. Every morning. You got to explain to them what you're talking about.
I found out somehow that Jacob, Mayor Frey, runs on the Parkway just about every morning at 7:08 every morning. Not that I know the exact time. But, so I just made a point to be down there. I don't run. Did I say that? So I'd be like, oh, hey, Mayor Frey, hey, you know, just to get my face out there. And then so when I really met you informally, you know who I was.
That's right.
So, but I just want to thank you guys. You guys did so much. The chairs that you're sitting on.
For those watching, that only works once.
Right. No stalking the mayor.
Yeah, that's right.
7:08. But
okay.
Yeah, look who's coming in. So you want to talk about Northside for life? That's Northside for life. So I appreciate you, Senator Champion. I appreciate your patience with us. And I know that one thing, this building and our other buildings will be better just because of what you all have done. So I appreciate you all. So I'm not going to stand up here long, but I just wanted to say, not only are we going to just redo these buildings, but the whole point is to make better programs for our clients, right? The infrastructure is important, but really, it's really about the clients and making programs and things for them so they can be better citizens out there. You know, Northside is very important. We're right there butting up against, you know, Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park. We've got all the other surrounding neighborhoods. We need to do better, right? And so in order to do better, we got to make this better, right? So I just want to thank you all. I just want to do a shout out to my sisters. Thank you for the support. Woo, talking about that again, Northside. And I just want to say thank you to the staff. You guys have been awesome. My leadership team has just been amazing. So I'm going to bring up Senator Champion, and then we'll keep it moving.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good to see you, my man. Thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you for having me, and thank you for just all the work that Turning Point does. First of all, I want to pause and say I'm sure that you've given some love to this particular person right here. Join me in giving Peter Hayden some love. And I also see Spike in the audience. You know, Spike is like a... Spike is a walking institution. If you want to know anything about North Minneapolis, down to where the bones are buried, you talk to Spike, right? There's nothing that he doesn't know, right? And there's no one who really doesn't know him. It's one thing for you to know someone, but it's also important for someone to know your name. And I just have over the years understood the importance of Turning Point and the testimony and the living testimony of Peter Hayden. You know, when you put your love into action, because love is an action word, and when you really understand that what you have to give is all of yourself, that is something that people receive. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. You know, and it always reminds me of that notion that says, before anyone had an opinion of me, God had a plan for me. You know, and so when you just think of him living up to his God-given potential, and then therefore that being an example for all the people who come through these doors. And remember, we are Northside for life. But can you believe the fact that this institution and this great place has done marvelous things for people just across the world?
Yeah.
There are people who actually have called Turning Point and needed intervention, and no one else could provide the cultural competency, and they went and got the person and brought them to North Minneapolis. So it was easy, and I'm thankful to the city for all of their investment, and I'm thanking LaTrisha, Vetaw, also first, because I know she and I had a conversation about Turning Point, and you know, whenever she wants to talk to you about something, she gonna find you no matter where you are. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate the mayor also just being steadfast and thoughtful and making this investment, because it is not on shallow ground. It is a firm foundation, and in order to build something, you must have a firm foundation. And so I am appreciative of that. And last but certainly not least, I'm looking at Joyce Hayden over there, and then her mom and dad. And Van, and then I see Jeff back there, you know, former state senator Jeff Hayden. Let's give him some love. And the reason why I'm taking this time just to make sure I recognize as many people as possible. Lori's been up here, and you know the Island family has been a pillar in this community. I saw. But hey, she did a shout out to her sisters, but she didn't give a shout out to her brother David Island. I don't know what that's about, right? You know. But let me just say, I'm thankful. Thank you again, and anything that we can do as a state, and us in partnership with the city, that we're going to do, because each one reach one. That's right. And we want to make sure that the love and the importance of being sober and being a contributing member to our society and to our community is an important notion, and we do not want it to go unrecognized. So thank you again, and thank you, Frey. Thank you.
I'm going to just quick introduce Byron Jeffries. Byron is our newest counselor, has an amazing story, so, you know, go for it.
All right, thank you. This the first for me, so I get a little nervous and emotional. But I'm going to start it off with a wise woman told me, have faith and tell fear to flee.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It touched me, so I'm going to start off by just acknowledging everyone up here, Mayor Jacob Frey, Senator, thank you so much. Barbara Joe Champion, LaTrisha, thank you. Lori, thank you. Dr. Hayden, appreciate you. I always get emotional when I talk because of my story. I know addiction really well. In 2016, it was deemed for me to come here. My life was on the line. I was broken, spiritually bankrupt. When I got here, I was lost. So the purpose of me coming here was for treatment, because I knew addiction very well, right? I knew trauma very well. So in that process, I went to a program, a Christian faith program, work therapy program, 6 months, I believe. And I understood, work therapy. I found God, but something still was missing. When I graduated, I didn't have nowhere to go. So my sponsor at the time, he said, you need to go to Turning Point. He said, make that your home.
Yeah.
So, in the process of going to Turning Point, I want to share a personal story, which is on a bullet point. It's this guy who was a employee there, and he was so kind. He was genuine. He say little things. I'm not gonna say the whole phrase, but he'll say, "Byron, it ain't long now. You've been beat up all your life. Don't beat yourself up. Heal." And then he said, you need to get your butt in school. Because you can do something to help the next man. So I thought about it, prayed on it. And I think we had to go to aftercare because I was at Miss B's, so we was doing a lot of treatment stuff. And I came here, and I heard another guy share, Calvin, a good friend of mine. He's not here today. And he shared his story. And I cried right in that corner. That was my turning point, right? So, excuse me for being emotional, man. My story is. So, in that instant, I made the decision to talk to him afterwards. And I say, I want what you got. He say, you want a little or you want a lot? And he say, once I give it to you, you got to give it away. I understood the assignment. I got my butt in school. I graduated with an associate's degree in addiction counseling. In that process, Turning Point moved me to their apartments, to where I had a safe space to now work on my bachelor's degree. If God willing, I graduate May 2024. So I'm gonna end with this. Thank you for that idea, Dr. Hayden, 47 years ago. Yeah. I wasn't even born yet. And it came. But it is. So, I would like to end with this. Man, addiction is real, right? There's a lot of challenges out there that we face. It's an epidemic, fentanyl, opioids. And I stand here today committed to do my best in helping this community, all right? And with that being said, thank you for listening. I would like to welcome Mayor Jacob Frey back.
Wow. Well, there's following that. There's no way I'm following all of you. This is indeed an instance where we are all putting our money where our mouth is, investing in a community that has earned it. Again, thank you to everyone who's up here. Senator, thank you for the partnership. $1.5 million is more than $1 million, is more than 500,000, and so when we put our efforts together, I think we can make a collective big difference. When I was walking in, I ran into Al Flowers in the parking lot, which feels like I do routinely. And he said, wait for me, I got to get something from my car. And I said, no, I got to go inside. And he said, well, wait for me, because when I get in there, I wanted to tell everybody how we've never seen an investment like this. And I said, I'll wait for you a couple minutes. So, we're on the right track here. We love you. We want to partner, and Turning Point, keep up the tremendous work. With that, I'll open it to any questions that you might have.
Yeah, hey Mayor, Woodrow Jefferson for Turning Point. This question of the 500,000, we're really blessed and thankful. Is this something you want to continue like yearly?
That's a very, very good question. That's the right question. The answer is, of course, we want to continue it annually. Can I make that commitment today? No, I'm not someone who's going to overpromise and then underdeliver. I think the big difference that we're seeing right now that we haven't seen before is this is not an organization that can be invisible any longer.
That's it.
We know it's here. We see you, and you know that we see you.
Any questions from the press?
Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Yes, one more question.
Could you comment on your request to City Council about the third policy?
Yes, I'm going to do that right after this outside. Yeah. Great. Anything else on this topic? Al, I'll let you have the final word here. Go ahead, and then we're going to go.
No, I just want to say to you and Senator Champion, as an activist in the community, to see y'all here and with Dr. Hayden for all this service he did to our community, Councilmember Vetaw to lead that charge. We had to call Senator Champion and they messing around over at the Senate. I mean at the legislature. We did that emergency call. You remember that? And I called him first, then called Vetaw, and they made it happen. And this is a great thing for our community during this time with all this opioid epidemic. And I just want to, to me, it's historic because I have never seen the mayor or the legislature come over here and recognize the work that Turning Point did. So I want to say thank y'all. I want to say thank you to the